Action.
Smack.
All right, we're going, okay. Hey, what's up, guys? Tackle Warehouse First Look 2023 here at ICAST in the Yamamoto booth. You know what? They don't let me out behind the camera anymore. And I said, I got one request. Do a video with these two knuckleheads. And they granted it.
Oh, because we're the coolest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
But hey, we got a lot of cool stuff coming out for Yamamoto. Up first, got a new big old ribbon tail worm. What's this guy called? What's going on with it?
So this is the Ichi worm, the
Ichi.
Yama Ichi. And this is a 10-inch worm, and a couple cool features about this worm. You know, Brett and I are both going to talk about it, but this is the mega floater formula. So, you know, a lot of big worms you throw in a brush pile. If you throw out there and you drop your line, they just fall to the bottom like that. This is going to completely float. So at all times, It's going to be up in the fish's face. You can see the ribs going to displace a lot of water. Really, really cool bait. And Brett, I mean, what do you think about the floating formula? I think that was a must.
It is, yeah. It's something different. You know, I mean, whether you're fishing a Texas rig, Carolina rig, on a big shaky head, or even on a free rig.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's got a good body to it, so the hook's not going to slide out of it real easy. And obviously these ribs on the side move water along with the tail.
Yes, and you see the tail, it's got plenty of action. It's not like it's a non-action big worm, but it's a 10-inch worm, a ton of colors. Colors like this too, you know, you think of
staples.
You know, summertime, brush pile fishing, really good stuff. We've got the right colors. I've thrown this worm. It is awesome. A ton of action. And the Yama Ichi, man.
Yama Ichi. Yeah. Very cool worm. I mean, would you ever whack rig something this big? Or probably not really. Not this style of worm.
You know,
I guess you could.
Bite the tail off.
Bite the tail off. Wacky.
Yeah.
Very cool. But very cool worm, and available for pre-order right now on Tackle Warehouse. Make sure to go check them out, guys. Get some. All right, up next, guys, let's keep the big worm train going. We got the new 10-inch Oki Worm. Is that right?
Yep.
Yes.
What's the story of the Yamaoki?
Well, you know, I mean, obviously it's a 10-inch straight tail worm.
That, clearly.
Yeah, it's a 10-inch straight tail worm. Right down here, it kind of has about, I'd say 7-8 inches down, has a tapered in, and then it comes out to a fat tail. So it's going to have a lot of action, and it has that super floater material. Cody, what kind of techniques are you going to use this thing with?
So, Corey, again, this is 10-inch.
Yeah. 10.5 inch.
Yeah. So, anyways, you know, hey, this is something for me, guys. This is going to be an awesome Texas rig, but a Nico rig is something that I'm going to definitely be doing with this, the Oki worm, the Yamaoki. Brett mentioned it. The tail, it slims down. It has that little kind of bulb on the end. It has a ton of action when you're pulling this through the water column. And again, this is another one of those where we really felt like it had to be a floating worm, because if not, you're going to pull this through with the Nico rig. Again, you're going to drop it. It's going to fall to the bottom. It doesn't have the action that it does when it's floating, and it's going to stand up. So anytime you stop this worm, you know, if you have a nail weight in the head, Texas rig, it's going to literally be up off the bottom with a ton of action. Again, a lot of colors. What I think is really cool from Yamamoto is years in the past, we didn't have this in the lineup. And we all throw big worms, and we needed this, so they came out with something completely different. And the Yamaoki, man, I'm digging it.
I'm stoked. Earlier today I was talking about someone else, you know, those taking those finesse techniques, but then getting the big baits to do it. I think that's really cool. It's, again, something fish haven't seen, and you go behind a guy, you throwing finesse stuff, but get some bigger fish behind those guys, and win some money,
Yeah, and maybe even on a Magnum shaky head too.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah,
yes,
Magnum shaky head and Nico rig. I think this thing is really gonna get some of those big ones, you know, in the summer months.
Yeah, this is you know, you're gonna throw it in the deep water, shallow water, whatever it might be, but shaky head, Nico rig, Carolina rig, hey, even a drop shot. Something like that. So, but the super mega floater material here, that is key. Of course, Yamamoto does the best colors in the entire world.
Hands down.
Oki worm here, Yamaoki, awesome, 10-inch.
You guys looking to get some more bites, something a little different, some more bigger bites by somebody else, go pick up the 10.5 inch Yamamoto Oki worm. I am just failing. Available right now, pre-order on Tackle Warehouse. Up next, guys, a cool little version of a bait that's really popular right now. Bait we got to throw a little bit, and a vlog coming to you very soon. is a little baby raccoon dog.
Yes. Hey.
It is, right?
This is the Yamatanuki, and what tanuki means in Japan and the Asian countries is raccoon dog. It actually, yes, is a real thing, and they got a little tail like this. So we took the tanuki, of course, Yamamoto, so it's a Yamatanuki. And what is cool about this bait, this is a high density bait. Corey and I named this technique, high density plastic baits.
High density strolling.
Yeah.
Or dragon.
Dragon. High density dragon. You guys got to watch this vlog. Really, really cool. But we had, earlier this year, we released the 3.5-inch version. Now this is a 2.5 version. And same great technique. You can Texas rig this. I'm going to have B-Hite tell you. I think my personal favorite with this 2.5-inch is spotted bass, smallmouth, largemouth, but the Ned rig.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, another one is just taking a nose hook on a spinning rod and just cast it out like you would a normal Senko or the other Yamatanuki. Just nose hook that thing and cast it out there and let it fall down. And what's nice, for such a small bait, it falls fast and you can actually feel it because it has that super heavy density
It's so
plastic.
dense, yeah.
But just a really, and what's different about the Yamatanuki, whether it's the bigger one or the smaller size, is the way it falls. It kind of falls back and forth like that. And man, I mean, the fish just love the thing.
So, on the Yamatanuki, that's one of the first things I learned when fishing with Cody. Like, Cody, how do you fish this thing? And in my mind, finesse. But you're like, no. Heavy tackle, 20-pound test, flipping stick, that kind of stuff.
Yes.
I'm guessing 20 pounds is probably a little overpowered for this thing, but are you still on the heavier end for a finesse technique, or how are you rigging this guy?
This is going to be more finesse. Now, why you want 20 pound on the 3.5-inch? You want that line to kind of lay out and for it to lay out on the bottom. I watch a lot of the Japanese anglers, tournament anglers fish it, and they told me that's how you throw it. You could do the same thing, maybe a 12 to 14 pounds, so still finesse type if you're going to Texas rig this bait. But if you're going to do what B-Hite said, nose hook, you can pop it up, let it go down a drop shot. But a Ned rig too, perfect size, looks like a goby or a little crawdad, and very underrated bait to skip under docks.
Oh,
It skips unbelievable.
Yes, it is easier to skip than a wacky rig Senko. So you can skip it up under there. If you want to Texas rig it, you can work it out like a soft jerk bait on the bottom. Gets you a ton of bites. Fish haven't seen it. Way more finesse version of the Yamatanuki. Again, 2.5-inch with the same great fish catching colors that we introduced earlier this year.
Yep.
Very cool. Well, if you guys will try something different, go check out the new 2.5-inch Yamatanuki. Buy now, on Tackle Warehouse, get you some. Little poop.
Right there, where we got it.
Up next, hands down, one of the most popular baits ever sold, probably the #1 selling bait in the country forever, is now gotten a little fatter.
Yes, that is the deal. So we wanted to make a fat Senko, and this, we nailed it. So same great ways you're going to fish a regular 5-inch Senko, wacky rig, Texas rig, but this is actually just a different version of it. Like I say, it's fatter. It feels like, to me, Brett and Corey, when you throw it out there on a wacky rig, it actually kicks harder going down because there is more salt in there. Whether you're wacky rigging, Texas rigging, it's a Senko. This is a foolproof thing, just a different size.
And I'm guessing so it falls a little faster than the two, or does it fall about the same?
Yep,
it falls a little bit faster.
Yeah.
I call it the ADD Senko.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah. So it falls a little bit faster, so you can fish it a little bit faster. If you're trying to cover water, we all know when you're fishing a regular 5-inch Senko, it's hard to cover water. But with this thing, you can pitch it out and actually cover a lot more water. That's why we call it the ADD Senko.
Well, that's why it's for me, because but nobody like Senko catches them. I don't have patience. I hate waiting for that dang thing to fall to the bottom. So
so it just speeds it up a little bit. The fall rate, and like Cody said, it has a lot of action to it with that, just the bigger bulk. It's going to be one of those baits. It's going to catch them.
Think about it here too. Like one of the most popular techniques here out in Florida, which some guys are doing back home, and all the guys are, is put that little bolt weight in front of these guys and to fish in this regular Texas rig. And it's amazing how I never even thought about that in California. And you come here in Florida, the guys do it all over the place. I go back home, and so little guys are actually doing that. And to me, it's a deadly technique. And now you got a little bigger version to kind of get those bigger fish.
Yeah, and you know what? Brett mentioned it, ADD. That's a good way to say it, because I like to Texas rig this bait, and you're flipping, right? So you're flipping and it's going quicker. I mean, you're going to hit a lot more targets. And because of the size and the weight of this, you can actually pitch it out there and you're going to be a little bit more accurate too, because it's not going to kind of drift around, especially in the winds. You're going to make an accurate flip, cover more water. ADD, I like it. But 5-inch fat Senko, we all know what a Senko does. We just got a little bit bigger one now, and really, really cool stuff.
The castability too is a big thing.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, we know how a 5-inch Senko, it can be, if it's a little breezy, it's tough to cast, but no, you don't have to worry about that with this thing.
Really cool.
Very cool. So if you guys are a big fan of Senko, definitely want to check these guys out. You're a guy like me, and you got a little Yama or Senko ADD, you definitely want to check these guys out. Get to the bottom, get faster, go pre-order yours right now on Tackle Warehouse. Up next, one of the hottest things going right now, hands down probably hottest thing going, especially on tour, is a new bait for that live scope, live action, whatever you want to call it, the new scope shad. Walk us through it, guys.
Yeah, so this was a must-have. You know, a lot of people call it Gussie 1, the classic this year. They call it moping up in Canada, the whole Demiki rig type technique here. But this was a must-have, and Yamamoto nailed it. You can see how much action this is, but this is the Mega floating formula, live scope. You know, I like to take a little small jig head, maybe something coming out like the mid-stroll head, something like that, and you can literally go around, because of the size, it's only 3-inch, and you pick a fish out on live scope, you're gonna be able to throw over to it, watch this bait go down, kind of pendulum swing through the water column, and you're gonna get those tough, hard to catch fish with the live scope where maybe they won't eat a jerk bait or a swim bait.
Yeah, I mean, we all know suspended fish are some of the most difficult fish to catch, especially in those wintertime months, you know, where they're just not real active. I mean, that's when this thing's really going to shine. The other thing, smallmouth fishing on a drop shot with that floating formula, it just has a good profile of a bait fish, and I mean, smallmouth and largemouth are not going to be able to resist this thing.
Especially the action. I mean, we talked the other day about how a lot of guys are fishing 20 foot of water, they're shaking that rod. All the line resistance, you're probably not really putting much action on that worm, but this bait will do the action all by itself.
Yeah, that tail is so thin, it's not gonna take much to get that just little quiver action to it.
Yeah, and you can see the design too. You know, it's got a wider back, and you go around kind of that keel-shaped bottom. So that's going to always have that bait kind of track the way it's designed to be, you know, to be fished.
For sure.
And just a ton of action. We really felt like you didn't want to put salt in here, so we did that Mega float formula, because the salt would really change the action, maybe fall too fast. But nailed it on this. Like I say, first thing I did when I got this, I put it on a little jig head, threw it out there, and checked it out. And you could see that tail. I mean, it's very lifelike, very, very realistic. And live scope, that is the thing. So scope shad, absolutely perfect. To me, it's a must-have.
Yeah, you know, you're thinking track. I was thinking to maybe a little underspin or behind a little micro chatterbait, something like that.
Yeah.
Cool little bait. Well, again, a very versatile shad-shaped style bait that's going to excel for that live scope technique. Make sure you check them out. The new scope shad, available for pre-order right now on Tackle Warehouse. Up next, a bait I didn't even know about. Earlier this year, they came out with the new 4-inch Yama Craw, available for our debut of the Classic. Now we got a new 3-inch version.
Yeah, so, you know, we all, Hite, all of us got together. We loved the 4-inch size, but we needed a smaller size too. You know, more swim jig, finesse jig, a little IR jig, something like that. Just more appealing to the everyday, maybe tournament angler. So we came out with the 3-inch size. So now you're covered. You got a 3-inch and a 4-inch. And really cool. Again, we use the Mega Float formula. And why that's so important, you know, you think on a bait like this is not a Senko. You want that bait to always be up and look like a crawdad. You want those craws to always be up. So Texas rig, bed fishing, a jig, a shaky head, it's always going to be up, designed how it's supposed to be. And that is a really cool deal. A little bit more durable as well too, but awesome jig trailer, tons of action. You can see the little ribs there, or the little, you know, things that catch water on the claws, but just a must-have. When I saw this, this was like, hey, perfect jig trailer. This is a must-have.
Could be a cool little foot bait, maybe something like that too.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. So a lot of other smaller craw kicking style baits don't have this thick body like that. So you can't really get a flipping hook in that. So you could take a 1/0 or a 2/0 and put a little 1/4 ounce on that thing and pitch it around. It's just going to be a great flip bait. I caught a big stringer at Lake of the Ozarks this year on the prototype on the IR jig, on the back of the IR jig.
Yes.
Just a perfect kind of a finesse jig trailer. Moves a lot of water, and it just looks so realistic.
Yeah, very cool and Craw. You know, you guys, you think Yamamoto, you think Senko, you think soft. You know, you could go through a bunch of them. This floating plastic is a different. It floats. It has different material, a lot more durable. So
Yeah.
this will last on the back of jig for a long time, flipping, pitching, and allow you. And that's what the thing that sucks about most jig trailers, but the softer ones, you still have to replace them all the time, and you're not fishing.
Yeah, and you don't need a ton of salt on something like this.
Yeah.
You know, the Senko, you need all that salt. The Yamatanuki, all that salt. Most of the Yamamoto products, all that salt. But this, you don't need it. And also, like you say, it's a lot more durable, but here's the cool thing. They're so easy to rig. You know, where some of the other plastics that is very durable, it's hard to rig, it's hard to get it on straight. I want that thing perfectly on there and more durable. It's a fish catcher. And it's always in position with the action because of floating formula.
Yeah, very cool. So if you guys are looking for a new jig trailer, a new flip bait, something a little different, make sure to check out the new 3-inch Yamamoto Craw. Yama Craw. All right, guys, well, that's going to wrap it up for the Yamamoto booth. Unfortunately, I got to let you guys go. I'm looking all day to come see you guys all week.
Are you tired, buddy?
I am going to try, ain't going to lie. A lot of steaks all week. And we're going to steak tonight.
Yeah, carnivore diet.
Yeah.
You and Naylor.
Come to Yamamoto and just eat a bunch of meat. But hey, it's always fun with you guys in the booth. Always some cool stuff to see. Make sure to check out all the new Yamamoto stuff. Tackle Raw's First Look, ICAST 2023.